How much money are you losing by not franchising your business? Part 4. Hi, this is John Hayes with FranchiseMastermind.com, continuing to put a new spin on that age-old question of what's it going to cost me to franchise my business. I don't think that's the right question to ask. Sure, it's an important consideration, but much more important is how much money are you going to lose by not franchising your business. That's what we're continuing to talk about today. Earlier, I talked about all businesses cannot be and should not be franchised. So go back to an earlier video, the first video in this series, to get my take on that. I also talked about the cost being between $40,000 and $150,000. I think ideally it's in the $100,000 range. I gave you good information about that. And then I talked about the 6 critical issues, the first one being systemization. Then in the last video I talked about market penetration, and now today I'm going to talk about brand awareness. One of the things that we all recognize is that people move geographically, not just in the United States, but worldwide. People are on the go. They move. I think it's about every 7 years people put their house up for sale and they move someplace else. But people remain faithful to brands no matter where they live in North America or no matter where they live throughout the world. People love brands. Now, I've written on my blog, and I'm not embarrassed to say on this video, to tell you about my secret love affair with a brand, that being Dairy Queen. And this goes back to my childhood when my dad and my mom would put our family in the car, 4 kids and the dog Queenie, Cocker Spaniel, and we'd all head for Dairy Queen, or we could get a cone for 10 cents and Dad got a milkshake for a quarter. And of course this was mostly during summer months because Dairy Queen was not open year-round in northeastern Ohio, at least not in Dover, Ohio. I think they opened Memorial Day and they closed around Labor Day or in October. So it was a very special treat to go to Dairy Queen. And I learned that from being a young child, and I continue to be in love with Dairy Queen. Doesn't matter how inconvenient it may be. If I've got to cross 3 busy highways and make a U-turn to get over to the Dairy Queen, I'm going to the Dairy Queen maybe 2 or 3 times in one day. I know I shouldn't do that, but can't help myself. This is my love affair. Well, I bet you've got a love affair with a brand as well. And you don't have to tell me about it. It's enough for you to know about it and enough to make my point that people, no matter, not just Americans, people love brands. Consumers love brands. So how much brand awareness does your solo business have? Again, let's say you're the mom and pop operator. You're only one, and you've got a whole host of competitors who are selling what you're selling, marketing what you're selling, your same products or services or a different kind of product or service but related enough to yours. Are they going to continue? Are the consumers going to continue to chase down you and your brand? Or will a franchise, maybe with an inferior product or service, will a franchise capture the hearts and experiences and the money and the pocketbook of consumers who would have been faithful to you if it hadn't been for your low brand awareness? You know, someday you're going to want to sell your business. You want an exit from your business. Maybe you sell it to another family member, or maybe you sell it to a stranger. And brand awareness is part of what you've got to take into consideration. It's certainly part of what the buyer is going to take into consideration when they agree to buy your business. And how much money they're going to pay you is going to be dependent on how strong that brand awareness is. Do you have consumers who are in love with your brand? Well, if you've been doing a good job, you probably do, and you've got to capitalize on that, and franchising does, because it explodes the brand. Suddenly, you're not the only one promoting and advertising your brand. There are now 10 of you. There are now 100 of you. There are now 1,000 of you. There are now 5,000 of you around the world who are promoting that same brand, all putting your money into the same pot to buy billboards, to buy radio advertising, television advertising, to explode the brand awareness. Franchising makes that a possibility. That's how the globalization of so many businesses has occurred, through franchising. You can't do that probably on your own. You probably don't have the money to create brand awareness on your own throughout the United States, even throughout one state, even throughout one part of a state. But you can do that by franchising your business and bringing other units into your network with you, all supporting the same brand and all creating that miraculous love affair that consumers want to have, look forward to having with a brand. I hope you've got a great number of consumers who are in love with your brand and you continue to cultivate that. This is John Hayes with FranchiseMastermind.com and HowToBuyAFranchise.com.